IGN gave Dragon Ball Sparking Zero a 7 out of 10. Guys, I'm fuming right now. I'm fuming more than Jerry Curls at a black barbershop. Okay, don't quote me on that, but I might be. Okay? Now, we're going to watch this video. This is the IGN video. We're going to watch it. We're going to see why they gave it a 7 out of 10. And as we watch it, I'm going to break it down for you and tell you why this 7 out of 10 is complete bull shiitake. Okay? Let's get into it.
You guys stay out of this. If I'm the one these guys want, then that's what they're gonna get.
As the first direct sequel to Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3 since...
Jarrett Green, now I know who you are. I'm gonna find you. I'm gonna find you. And that's all I'm gonna say.
Its PlayStation 2 debut, there's something charming about Dragon Ball Sparking Zero's old school design and presentation. It's tougher than Vegeta's chest plate and imbalanced in ways that are both annoying and lore accurate. Menus are labyrinthian. Training tips are sparse and sometimes not very useful, but
Okay, first off, let's just say this. The menus are labyrinthian, meaning they're hard to, maneuver around? Are you kidding me? The only gripe about the menu is when you go into shop and customize, and you can't go from shop to customize. You literally have to back out, then jump back in and click customize. You can't just jump from shop to customize or customize to shop. You literally have to back out. That is the worst part about the menu. Other than that, a literal second grader can navigate this menu better than you can. To say that this menu is labyrinthian, you hit R1, it says battles. You look up, battle mode. You hit R1, it says episodes. You look up, episode battles. You hit R1, it says customize. You hit R1, it says training, like custom battles. What are we talking about? Labyrinth. You hit one button and it surfs you through all the menu options, bro. Now, is he right about the tips not giving you a bunch of, it doesn't teach you? Yes. 100%. This game gives you a 1/8 of a tutorial of what you could really do in the game, this is what makes the game so good, is how much you can do. All the different moves, defenses, and attacks that you can do in this game is amazing. They do start you off with a really small tutorial before they jump you into the game, right? But listen, if you don't know how to play the game, I'm going to give you some advice. Don't jump into the game. Go to the tutorial. Play the tutorial. Learn how to play. What happened is everybody was so excited to play this game. Everybody wanted to be a Super Saiyan and be badass and whoop everybody so bad that they jumped into it without knowing how to really play the game. That's what happened. They hadn't played this game for 17 years, or they just never played the old games and they thought they were going to just get good at this game. This isn't the first game that happens. People play games and they just jump straight to online all the time. It just happens all the time. They don't even know how to play the game. They just jump straight into online, right? So, with this game, don't be mad if you're getting your ass beat because you didn't learn how to fight. So, I do have a gripe, right? It is a small gripe for me that it does just jump you in. But listen, I'm not mad because I played the old games fairly recently and I got my, I got back to how I was and it's, pretty much the same thing. So it was easy for me to jump into this game. But I'm not going to be mad at the game and deduct a bunch of points from it because of that alone. Because literally you could just go to tutorial and play it.
Every battle is crafted with the sole purpose of putting the Dragon Ball Z fighting fantasy as it appears in the anime into our hands.
Keyword as we move forward, as it appears in the anime, just like the old games, okay? Budokai Tenkaichi series takes the anime and puts it in a video game. So if you got Jiren and you're fighting against Master Roshi, this isn't Dragon Ball FighterZ. You do not have a chance. You have a chance, but you are you're at a big disadvantage. You're very disadvantaged in the fight if you go up against a stronger fighter. Okay? So moving forward.
Fast-paced, key-slinging, teleport-kicking, and magical hair dyeing is great fun, so long as you're patient with its gnarly learning curve. As a result, settling back into the pace and precision of this brawler feels just as much like a labor of love as the effort to resurrect the series in the first place.
Oh no! Folks, should I maybe get the heck out of here?
Alright, let's see.
It's undeniable how great Sparking Zero's characters and environments look in still screenshots. Every character, no matter what era of Dragon Ball they're from, looks better than I remember. In motion, things get a bit more dicey, with some cutscene animations in particular being awkwardly stiff. But
they've always been that way. They've always been that way. In all the Dragon Ball Budokai Tenkaichi games, I know I get it, it's a PS5, we're living in 2024 now. But listen, they were all this way. Dragon Ball Budokai Tenkaichi is not a cinematic game. It's a fight simulator. Just remember that.
At least the sound hits the mark.
If you want your little brat returned safely, Kakarot.
And it's an anime. The Dragon Ball Z anime, it wasn't the most smooth anime of all time. Okay? There was a lot of one-shots and a lot of still frames in that anime. Okay?
Prove your Saiyan spirit!
The raucous blast of key explosions and booming whooshes of Z fighters flying at high speeds are ripped straight off the screens of old TV episodes.
That's great. That's good. That's a good thing.
Most of the iconic voices of the various series are recreated pitch perfectly by their original voice actors too.
Oh wait, hold on. There's 180 characters and they got the original voice actors for every single one of them in the game? Oh my god, we gotta deduct points now!
Which is an important detail to get right.
Farewell, Bulma, Trunks, and even you, Kakarot.
Another win for my inner child was the truly immense roster. 180 plus fighters pulled from every nook and cranny of the series are playable. Many of these characters are repeated in some fashion.
Other fight games take note, cause I'm never, and I haven't since, bought a fight game that's only gonna have 10 to 12 people. Mortal Kombat, do better. Tekken, do better. Street Fighter, do better. Don't make your DLC fighters that were in the game in the previous games, because I'm not going to pay DLC to play as fighters that I could have played in the last game. Okay? Drop a full roster. Show your cojones. Oh wait, I'm sorry. I'm talking to AAA. I'm talking to AAA Studios, the greediest motherfuckers alive. I'm sorry. Hold on, I'm sorry.
There are 19
Bandai, thank you so much.
Versions of Goku, for example, but they all aren't simply reskins. They can have different special techniques and transformations.
Literally every Goku is a different character. They all have different movesets. From base Goku, from Z to Super Saiyan 1, 2 different characters. When he goes Super Saiyan 2, 2 different characters, 2 different movesets. Super Saiyan 3, 2 different characters, Super Saiyan movesets. Dragon Ball Super base Goku, totally different character from the other base Gokus, different movesets. Super Saiyan 1, different movesets than the other Super Saiyan 1. Super Saiyan 2, same thing. Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Blue. They're all different characters. They're not reskins like he's saying. I'm not saying that he's saying that, but listen, I'm breaking it down even more. There's a bunch of Gokus in the game, but they're literally all different. They play different, except maybe the 2 Ultra Instinct Gokus. They kind of play the same, but they're pretty much the same. They're one and the same. That's why, right? But they're still different when he goes from Ultra Instinct to Mastered Ultra Instinct. So let's proceed.
Trees, meaning base level Goku from the Saiyan invasion days has a different set of moves and a much lower upside than Buu Saga or Super Era Goku,
which is awesome.
You can transform into various Technicolor versions of Super Saiyan. These abilities can't be changed, but I could modify each warrior with ability items that boost things like attack power and health, though I barely noticed any benefit at all when doing so.
Also, just gonna throw it out there, this is for me personally, no one's playing that game mode. Nobody wants to play somebody else with a bunch of buffs. Like, that's just it. Just play me as the character. I don't care about your buffs. Like, that's just, I think that's the least important thing in online for the game right now, is that whole buff thing, because nobody's playing it. Nobody wants to play it. I think it's a stupid idea.
The controls are universal.
Not the worst idea. I'm not going to give it a 7 for it, but
universal for all characters, but some on the roster interact with the standard system slightly differently than others, which is an appreciated layer of nuance.
Also, I bet you didn't know this, certain players have special grabs for other fighters, right? So if Gohan grabs Super Buu, he's going to grab him by his antenna and fling him around, okay? Anybody else isn't going to do that. Just like if you grab Frieza with Goku, he grabs him by his tail just like the anime and flings him around, okay? So that's another thing about the grabs that you just seen right now. That's a cool feature, okay?
Android characters can't actively regain ki in order to launch blast attacks, while gigantic characters like Janemba can't be grabbed. Sparking Zero makes no attempt to balance these differences either.
As it shouldn't, because that is how it was intended to be made. Because they are taking it from the anime, putting it in the game. Did anybody grab Grade 8 Vegeta in the anime? I don't think so. Anybody grab Janemba? I don't think so. Okay? You're not supposed to be able to.
Every time I was forced to fight a character that was canonically stronger than mine in the manga or
Also, I beat Grade 8 Vegeta in 2 tries. Get better.
anime, they were just as oppressive in-game as I'd expect. I didn't always like it, but I respect the commitment.
See? And then that right there. He didn't always like how the villain was stronger than your character in the story mode. Okay, that tells me one thing. Either he didn't play the old games, or he just genuinely doesn't like it, but I want to bet that he didn't play the old games because that's how the old games were. Nothing has changed. This is literally what makes me think he did not play the old games, because he's like, Bandai's not gonna balance these things out. It doesn't seem like they're gonna. Like, duh, because the old games were like that. Oh, and I didn't really like how every villain was stronger than my character. Duh, that's how the old games were. Did you not play them? Do you not care about this franchise? Why are you reviewing this? Why is IGN having people that don't care about the franchise review the game? You should have somebody review the game that is in love with Budokai Tenkaichi 1, 2, and 3. Okay? Have them play this and review it for you. That way, the audience, who the game's intended to be sold to, has a better understanding from a player that actually likes the games. And it is a little bit of a biasy there, but listen, when you're playing the game, just eliminate the biasy. Just tell your truth about how you feel about the game, and that's good enough. Okay?
Let me see what you got.
Unfortunately, the bar to execute the various techniques of its diverse cast is very high and extremely frustrating. Inputs are simple overall, but early on, I often felt lost when combat picked up the pace.
I can agree to that. To a new person playing the games, and this is also what makes me really understand that he did not play the old games, especially before he played this game, which you should have. Guess what I did? I played Budokai Tenkaichi 3 for a month before this game came out. Okay? Nothing has changed. They almost took that game and just remastered it. It is beautiful what they did. They obviously added on to it, made it better. But it's literally the same game. So if he would have played, he would have understood these things. Right? Now, I will agree that new players will have a rough time figuring out the controls. It will get very confusing. It was confusing trying to learn Budokai Tenkaichi 3. I literally didn't get really good like I am on Sparking Zero until about a month ago, when I really looked in how to do combos, how to do blocks, how to do all these defense maneuvers, right? I looked it up. I did my due diligence, and if anybody wants to get good at the game, they're going to play the tutorial, they're going to watch YouTube videos, okay? But I will agree, new people, it will be very frustrating, and you've seen that with the Grade 8 fight. So many people lost so many times to the Grade 8 that they literally made a whole scene about it on the internet. I beat him in 2 tries. I know there's a difference between skill. It's okay. The game is not bad because you jumped into the game without learning how to play it first. Okay?
Part of that is admittedly on me. The last entry of the series I played with fervor, but that was right after Barack Obama was elected. The fast pace of Sparking Zero compared to Tenkaichi 3, mixed with the lax tutorial system, threw my 17 years older reaction speed out of the ring with ease. I spent a lot of time traveling back and forth between regular fights and the training mode to check and double check my understanding of when and how to use these techniques.
That's good. That's what you should do. You should have did it first though. You should have just jumped straight into the tutorial, play the tutorial. I get it, it's boring, but you don't know how to play the game, bro. Like, it's just common sense. Learn how to play the game before you give your opinion on it, bro. Like, you're an IGN, you work for IGN. Millions of people are going to see this. Do your due diligence.
As well as in the settings to adjust my button schemes and accessibility toggles. But really the only effective teacher was 25 brutal hours of getting kicked around.
Some would say that's the best teacher. That's how I learned growing up. But I was obsessed with these games.
Also, compared to modern day fighting games, Sparking Zero's training options are rudimentary at best. There's no expectation to lay out frame data and hitboxes in a less competitively focused game like this, but targeted drills or a more nuanced customization of CPU behaviors would go a long way to help beginners and returning players fly up to the high skill floor.
And I will add on to that. The tutorial isn't the best. It's certainly not the worst. Okay, it doesn't really tell you everything, but it definitely tells you more than enough, right? You're going to learn a lot of the cool shit and a lot of the fancy stuff from the professional Budokai Tenkaichi guys that will drop tutorials on how to attack, how to defend. That's the best way, right? But jump into the tutorial because you will learn hands-on.
As you do damage and gain energy, a meter will charge that grants a skill point every time it fills. There's a handful of ways to spend these points, the most common being on unique skills each brawler has, like this and this one. But points also need to be...
Dude, Yajirobe's Sensu Bean is so annoying. I didn't know he had a Sensu Bean, and I was playing ranked the other night, and I would get him down to, about yellow health, like the last 2 bars. He would hit me like with the maneuver or attack, he'd counter me, I'd go flying, and then he'd eat his Sensu Bean. And then he would last long enough for his thing to recharge, and he would eat another Sensu Bean when I got his health low. It was honestly a really awesome fight. I ended up winning. I'm not going to lose to Yajirobe, but I didn't know he had that, and he made the fight way harder. Like, and I was using Vegito, Super Saiyan Blue. So, like, you could literally hang with these guys if you just know how to play your character.
Be spent carefully on transformations and the new revenge counter system, which works a lot like combo breakers from Killer Instinct. The timing on your defensive options is razor thin and can be a real bear to learn, but these can be life-saving. And like Ki, which is also...
Are they a little frustrating to learn? Yes, but do you get the hang of it fast? You do. You'll get the hang of it as long as you just practice.
Used for a variety of offensive and defensive maneuvers, the resource management decisions you have to make on a moment-to-moment basis really add a welcome bit of strategy to an otherwise frantic fight. There is definitely an old-school approach to a lot of the progression systems and menus of Sparking Zero. You can grind achievements which get you rewards like characters, costumes, and in-game currency at a healthy rate. There are microtransactions like a $35 season pass covering 3 packs of characters and 2 $15 music packs, but I didn't see any option to buy them without leaving the game and going to the storefront directly, a rarity in 2024.
And the microtransactions, they're not even really microtransactions. I don't count the DLC as a microtransaction. Like, I get it is, but they're not shoving down cosmetics. They're not shoving cosmetics down your face, right? They're not shoving characters that you have to literally buy down your face. It's just the DLC and then 2 music packs. Who gives a fuck about the music packs?
Similarly, so many of the menus are a hassle to navigate. For example,
which I don't understand, and we're gonna like take me into your stupidity, brother. Let me know why. You see here at the bottom, you click left to go to gallery. You click right to go to episodes. You click right again to go to battles. You click right again to go to whatever. Like, bro, you're just going left and right and looking up. This isn't a fucking rocket science. This isn't fucking rocket science is what I'm trying to say. I'm so mad I can't even talk right.
Example, you can customize characters' abilities and costumes to be used in all modes, but those modes don't have paths to the customized screen within them, so you have to exit one completely and go the long way to make adjustments.
Literally only the shop and customization. That's it. None of the other menus are like that. That is the only one, like I said earlier. So when he says they're all like that, he's lying. That is not an actual statement. That's not a that is an actual statement, but it is not a factual statement.
This was barely acceptable in 2005, and we certainly don't have to live like this in 2024.
But I do get it. Simple menu, up and down, ranked, just click, click, click. It's all right there in one little thing. I get that. I totally get it. But the menu is not bad, and it's not a labyrinth just because it's different from what you're used to.
The flagship single-player mode is called Episode Battles, which is a truncated retelling of the biggest Dragon Ball stories from various characters' perspectives. Just about every Dragon Ball game has done this in some form or fashion, but...
Now listen to that. Every Dragon Ball game has done this in some sort of fashion. Meaning, every Dragon Ball game goes through the story from the Saiyan Saga all the way to the Buu Saga. We get it. We've done it a million times. That's what they say, right? And then this game came out, and they sped you through the story mode, and you know what they say? Man, this story mode's trash. What? This story mode sucks. But yet, when Kakarot did it, I'm not buying Kakarot. I already played the story mode a million times. I'm not doing the story mode on Raging Blast or Xenoverse. I already played that a million times. But when Budokai Tenkaichi, or when Sparking Zero comes out, and they try to rush you through the story because they know that that's not where you're going to spend most of your time, you're mad about it. Now, do I wish that they added at least one or two more fights to each arc? Absolutely. I wish when you click the Goku arc, it did it canonically, and you could switch characters, but I wish like when you fought Cell, it just transferred over to Gohan, you did the couple fights with Gohan, and then I wish it did like the full Majin Buu thing where you actually fight Majin Buu in Super Saiyan 3, blah blah blah. They don't do that. They really do rush you through the story mode. So that is a little bit of a gripe for me, but again, it is not enough of a gripe to not give this a 7.
This rather exhaustive version does a good job at keeping the time between battles short and prioritizing the important moments versus making you play every single skirmish, as Tenkaichi 3 did.
They do, and that's supposed to be a good thing, but a lot of people are getting mad about it for some reason.
The feature this time around, though, is that certain events can actually be cleverly changed for sometimes dramatic new outcomes. That could involve making a choice during a cutscene or ending a battle in a specific way that then changes the course of the story, sometimes dramatically. But not all of these side attractions are created equal, with only a few I've seen being truly jaw-dropping or substantial, like teaming up with Piccolo to kill Cell early.
Teaming up with Piccolo to kill Cell early. Vegeta going into Super Saiyan mode and killing Frieza instead of Goku, and him becoming Super Saiyan first. Goku or Gohan Black, bro. Like those are 3 straight bangers. Okay? And then you get to fight as Goku Black in a totally alternate universe where you're the villain and you win, and then also Frieza. Like, get out of here, bro. The what ifs are sick. The what ifs are amazing. I know you might not like it because I bet you didn't play all of them. I bet you only played 2 of them. I bet you only did the Cell one. Okay? And then maybe the Trunks one. The Trunks one wasn't that great. I will say that. But like, the way you're describing this and the reason behind your opinions just makes me feel like you didn't even really fully play the game. And I know you didn't play the other ones. I just know that.
Episode battles can be very difficult, since powerful characters can become all but immune to your normal attacks.
Look who it is, Grade 8
and will
Vegeta.
Always have the perfect defense to match your offense, making it tough to experiment and find these largely hidden special conditions when the pressure is on.
Yeah, because you don't experiment in story mode on regular difficulty. Lower the difficulty, and then you can experiment. Or you go to the tutorial to experiment, right? And then you take what you experimented with from the tutorial, from practice, just like real training in a real fight. and then you go into the real fight, and then you apply it. You don't experiment in the real fight. Okay, I'm an MMA fighter. You know what happens if I try to experiment in a real fight without experimenting and sparring a bunch of times and practicing whatever the technique is? Not good things, okay? Good things don't happen if I experiment mid-fight, right? So use the same logic here. You're not using any logic. I'm experimenting in the middle of a hard boss fight, you dumbass. That's what you're saying.
You can lower the difficulty on a fight-by-fight basis in order to progress if you really need to.
Pussy.
But these special tasks must be completed at least the standard difficulty, making finding them very much an endgame activity. But I did appreciate the effort to spice up the stories that have been rehashed ad nauseam.
What the?
See that what if? Mecha Frieza comes back and kills Trunks? Like, these are banger what ifs. You're crazy. You're not a fan of Dragon Ball Z if you think that most of the what ifs are not bangers, because most of them are, and the community says so, and you're the only one who doesn't say so. Right? And you're the only one who is like reviewing a game that you didn't play enough of.
There are also custom battles, which exist somewhere between Mario Maker and the Universe mode in a WWE game, using a toolbox full of special modifiers that limit what characters can and can't do in a given scenario, as well as some triggers that help program particular outcomes after conditions are met. These battles can potentially resemble more of a puzzle than just mashing digital action figures.
Yeah, and I think he's going to agree with me on this. The custom episodes, that's probably the second least important thing about the game. The buffs on online ranked, I think you could do it off ranked too, but the buffs, no one fights on the buff mode, and no one does custom battles, like straight up. Like nobody does the custom episodes. That's it.
Together in dream situations. There's a shoddy system for putting together dialogue so that some sort of narrative can be added to them.
I tried this out too. Not that great. It's not that great. You don't get any dialogue. It's just words on the screen. It's a silent movie with kind of cool concepts.
But the best it can do is loosely set up make-believe stakes. I had no plans to write my own entire Dragon Ball arc, but I am not sure the tool's up to the task even if I wanted to. There are quite a few custom battles made by developer Spike Chunsoft baked in, and they don't really stretch the imagination that much. A few of them present interesting scenarios and specific parameters for victory, like seeing Kid Goku spar with Master Roshi, who can only be beaten by the Kamehameha. But I haven't come across an aha creation that really shows me the potential of this mode.
Same here. Haven't. It's whack. Take it off. Am I going to give it a 7 for having a feature that I'm not going to use? No.
Sparking Zero at least seems to break the Tenkaichi curse of truly abysmal online multiplayer.
By the way, all the maps, you get full map destruction. You see all those people behind Videl right there? I could destroy that entire arena. I can destroy the world stage arena, that big square as you guys seen, that big old damage in the middle of it. You can destroy the entire thing. You can destroy the entire city if you wanted. Environmental damage is crazy in this game.
Multiplayer by supplying some solid network play.
Which also gives me a little bit of gripes because I do hate being backed into a wall or a building that hasn't broken, because sometimes the camera gets a little funky. Okay? Sometimes the camera gets a little funky. But it's not bad. Most of the time it's not bad.
I found minimal latency and lag issues on livelier servers, or at least not enough to blame it for me dropping a combo or missing a parry. There is a local split screen option for...
It has amazing latency online, has amazing connection online. I'm barely ever fighting somebody that's making me lag or if I'm lagging. Hardly ever. And that is a very, very good thing for a fight game. And you have split screen where I could play with my buddies at home. Another big W.
People who want to duke it out in person, but it's disappointingly limited to just one stage. The white void of the hyperbolic...
Did not know that. That is whack. I don't understand why that is.
Time chamber. Even still, playing Sparking Zero with real people that you can hit with a dramatic one-liner or a guttural power-up scream is still the best way to do it by far.
Kept you waiting, huh?
Dragon Ball Sparking Zero is a final flash from the past, sometimes to a fault, as demonstrated by its archaic menus and remedial training tools. Its episode battles have the kind of reaction-heavy difficulty that doesn't really exist in most games these days. More than once...
Let's repeat what he just said.
Reaction-heavy difficulty that doesn't really exist in most games these days, and remedial training tools. Its episode battles have the kind of reaction-heavy difficulty that doesn't really exist in most games these days.
Its episode battles have a reaction difficulty that doesn't exist in most games these days. Like Dark Souls and Black Myth Wukong is literally not a reaction game at all. Black Myth Wukong, literally game of the year, that's not a heavy reaction focused game at all. Neither is Elden Ring.
More than once crossing the line between challenging and frustrating. But the
more than once crossing the line of challenging and frustrating. Oh, man, the game is just so challenging and frustrating. I wish I could turn the setting lower to make the difficulty easier.
feeling of traveling back to a simpler time when games didn't have to be balanced or competitive to be fun is a good one. Especially when that action stays so true to that of the show it's recreating.
Okay, so he's complimenting that. He's saying that's a good thing. So where does the 7 come from?
Living a story that was foundational to my youth, looking and sounding as great as I remember it, with the opportunity to alter it in sometimes dramatic new ways is clever, and the addition of tools to attempt to create your own stories could elevate the experiment even further if a community can figure out how to make the most of it.
There it is.
For more, check out our review.
Oh my god. He glazed it for the last 2 minutes. He glazed it. Man, this has features that no other games have. I remember this game from my childhood looking great, but now it looks even better than it ever has. And this game just does so many cool twists and turns. This is a solid 7. What are you talking about, bro? You know what else had a 7 that IGN gave? Take a wild fucking guess. That's right, Concord. Concord got a 7. How is this anywhere near Concord 7? It makes 0 sense. This game is a 9 out of 10. This game is a 9 out of 10. This game is a 10 out of 10. If you're a Dragon Ball Z fan and a Budokai Tenkaichi fan. It is an 11 out of 10. This is the best game. The best Dragon Ball Z game that has came out since that. Budokai Tenkaichi 3. Do not tell me this is a 7 out of 10. Because you're wrong. And IGN is always wrong about a lot of things. Okay? Because Concord was a 3. Wasn't a 7. But they don't give anything under a 7. Because they're too scared to actually be truthful about these video games. Because they're too scared of the repercussions they're going to get from whatever studio or whatever ties they have with anybody. So... guess what? Jarrett Green, you're a dumbass. IGN, you're an idiot. I'm going to dislike this video, and I'm going to unsubscribe. That's what we're doing. Because I'm done with IGN. I'm just done. This is ridiculous.